Hello folks, Abfielder here. Welcome to a look at this week's snapshot 21W09A that actually doesn't exist. Mojang did not release the snapshot this week. And for that reason, I thought it would be great to do a video that looks at all the snapshots we've had so far and just shows you all the new features that have been introduced. And there is a long list, folks. There's so many cool new features already, and it's really easy to forget. So I just kind of wanted to go back through all those. And with those quick look videos, what you'll find is I occasionally miss some features. I overlook them because I'm doing them quickly. So I thought it'd be a really good opportunity for me, and that's a lot of skeletons. I thought it'd be a really good opportunity for me to just go back through the feature list and maybe have a look at some stuff I've missed, go into a little bit more detail on some of the stuff. And I'm sure you folks just can't get enough of 1.17 news. So we're going to start off with something that I missed actually. And I missed that Mineshaft generation has actually changed. So we are in a big open space down way below Y level 0, and this is a mineshaft. And as you can see, we now have, where it's in a big open space, it's anchored to the ceiling using the chains and a fence post, and I think that's quite a cool, more realistic change for these things. At least they're not hanging in midair anymore. And the second change they made is they're now using logs instead of planks to anchor them to the floor. The way I read this change was I was expecting all of these to be logs, and I don't know if that's a mistake, like a bug, or if that's purposeful. I don't know if they're going to change in a later snapshot, because where they're using logs, I think it looks loads better, and I think they probably should change all of them. Don't know whether they will, so we'll see how that goes. But what do you folks think of the mineshaft change? Like I said, I think it's a lot more realistic. I can't believe I overlooked this at the time. That's a lot of mobs. So change number 2, and this is quite a recent one, but obviously we now have these amazing caves. We are way below Y level 0. I think we're down at Y level -17. So yeah, we have these wonderful new caves. Now this is called a cheese cave, and it's these massive, wonderful looking caves that just, they're amazing. We now have the previously called Dripstone, which is now called Deepslate, and we have the ores that match them as well, so that's looking really cool. I think I prefer the name Deepslate. I know it's a controversial topic. Do you prefer Deepslate or Dripstone? Let me know. So yeah, without further ado, let's go and look at some of this cave generation. I think, again, this is all cheese generation. There is something called spaghetti caves, and we will go and find some of those in a minute. In fact, this might even be one. No, this looks like another cheese one. That looks like it might be spaghetti. We'll go down there in a second. This is so cool. Just imagine, you could put just a really cool underground theatre in here. This would be such a cool space for a base. I'm liking it. I'm thinking I'm doing a mountain base in Season 3 of Strangecraft, but I might have to change. Okay, this is definitely a spaghetti cave here. It's quite a small one. Let's see if we can find some more. Let's go into spectator mode. Okay, right, let's head it into a wall because it tends to be easier to find them when you're going through like this. Let's go and have a look. We've got some cheese caves. That's like a small cheese cave. Small cheese cave. That looks like spaghetti over there to me. Ah, here we go. Well, that looks a bit dull. That looks a bit like the old style ones. Is that spaghetti? I think that's spaghetti. Yeah, that's got to be spaghetti. So let's get back into creative. Here we go. And yeah, here we go. This is definitely a spaghetti cave. As you can see, it's quite long, quite thin, like spaghetti is. And that's really cool. And we can see some more of the ores there. So we have the redstone ores. I do love how they blended them in. They could have just been, you know, a little bit lazy and left out. I'm glad they didn't. We keep seeing this around. This is glow lichen, and I don't think there's a huge amount of use for it at the moment other than the fact that it lights up the caves. Let's just clear my effects. Effect. Let me get the command right. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, it's quite dark, but obviously we can see these bits that are lit up by the glow lichen, and it does give the caves a really nice effect when you're going to be exploring them in survival. I think that's really funky. One thing we haven't talked about is the aquifers, when we did see them in one of the previous caves, and now I've said that, we probably won't be able to find them. Can we find them? Can we find an aquifer? Let's fly through here. No aquifers. No aquifers. Typical. Shouldn't have left that first cave. What we got down here? Oh wow, this is awesome. Again, another just awesome space. Imagine building a base in here. think all of Hermitcraft season, whatever it will be, is just going to be underground bases. Are we back in my... I think we're back in my first cave. I think we made our way back. Here we go. Right, I'm going to give myself the effect back, otherwise you're not going to be able to see this very clearly. Here we go. Boom. So we have these aquifers that flood these caves, and they tend to only work below y equals 0 at the moment. So yeah, again, it just gives more life to the caves, and obviously when we get the lush caves, I think that's going to look really, really awesome. Okay, I think that's enough about the new cave generation. Actually, there is one more feature. We'll come back into that in a second. Okay, this took me a lot longer to find than I planned. Thankfully for you, I'll just cut the video. So this is a crack carver, and although it looks similar to terrain generation in previous versions of Minecraft, it's actually a lot thinner and it goes a lot deeper. And then we have some copper ore. What do you think of copper ore? They've done some of this because of people with color blindness, so they've made it certain colors. I don't know which colors, but to stand out a little bit more, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, actually what I wanted to show you, and I forgot to mention there, was my Y level is like 83, I think, at the top there. We head down into this crack, and imagine falling into this in your hardcore world. That is not going to be a fun time for you. If we head all the way down, we're now down to minus 10, and these cracks, when you find them, can go, well, right the way down into those brand new caves. This is a fairly shallow one. I think that's about as low as we're going to get, just into the minuses. So yeah, that's the crack carvers, so watch out for those on your travels. So early on in the snapshots, we actually got something that I saw as we were doing the crack carver, and this is the amethyst kind of, I want to call them amethyst rooms or amethyst caves for now. So let's head back into creative mode. Here we go. And let's hit that debug menu on, and in here, and they have changed slightly as the snapshots have gone on. So we have the amethyst blocks, we have the budding amethyst blocks, then we have the amethyst crystals. I hope I'm saying all this correctly. And we have various different sizes of those crystals. Then over here we have calcite, which I haven't really looked at in too much depth. And then we used to have tuff over here, and we have still got a little bit of tuff. I thought they'd taken this out when I read the snapshot notes, because we obviously have the smooth basalt, which is another new block now, and I'll show you a little bit more about smooth basalt later. But yeah, I thought this was in veins. I don't think it's related to the generation of these rooms anymore. Let's head back into spectator mode. Let's see if we can find another one of these rooms and see if tuff is always there. Let's head back into creative. There is no... Oh no, there is a little bit there. It's not really related to these rooms anymore. It used to be where the smooth basalt is. Apologies. So that has changed slightly. These rooms look really cool. I don't think you can move these around. I think if you want to create these crystals, then you have to do it in situ, which is an interesting game mechanic. The next feature that I want to look at is pointed dripstone. Now this doesn't actually exist naturally unless you create a single biome world, which I haven't done, so I placed this in manually. And pointed dripstone can be placed on the ceiling or on the floor, and it forms stalagmites and stalagmites. I can't remember which one is which. And yeah, you can make these pretty big in either way as well. Let me just point on there, so we get the pointed dripstone in our inventory. So if we just click on the top, we can make these bigger. And you can break them using any tool. Apparently, if you throw a trident at them, they'll break instantly. So at least that gives us another use for the trident. As well, you get the pointed dripstone blocks that is created by crafting up 4 pieces of the pointed dripstone. This will generate naturally when they have implemented it. Looks really cool. They are also incredibly dangerous. Now, apparently, if you fall onto one of these, it increases the fall damage by 4 times. So you're going to have to be a little bit careful when you're jumping around the caves in future in 1.17. But they look really cool. They add a lot of life to Minecraft. I'm not 100% sure on the default textures. They look a little bit flat to me. I feel like that. I don't know if they're going to change that or not. They look a little bit flat when you look at them like that. But they, you know, they do look cool. They do add decoration. Oops. And yeah, no, let me know what you think about these. Okay, on to the next feature then. So the next one I wanted to talk about was cave vines, and these, as you can see with the berries, they glow as well, so they add more light sources to your caves and they look really cool. That's why I've got night vision turned off at this moment in time. And of course, where they grow the glow berries themselves, they are a food source. So if you're down here exploring, you no longer have to just go up to the surface to get food, and that is really useful. Now if you have glow berries, these again don't grow naturally yet in the terrain. I assume that'll happen with lush caves. You can then go and place them there. We're going to speed up the random tick speed because that's what gets these things to grow. So random tick speed, and we're going to set that to 10,000. And it might be useful to grow a couple more. And there you go. You can see them growing. They'll grow all the way down to the ground. And you can get berries in several parts of them. This is actually the second time I've recorded this clip because when I did this before, I had mobs spawning and a creeper killed me. Took me a while to get back here. Fun story. I'll put it in the outtakes at the end. So let's set our game mode to survival. Let's go here. I'll tell you what, let's chuck these out of our inventory. These are the ones we got from creative. And let's get ourselves some berries. There we go. And what happens if you do it there? Yeah, you just get the berries, whereas if you just break an empty block... Well, that was in... game rule. I still have the game rule set to 2000, don't I? That's why it grew back instantly. So there you have it. They look really cool. And again, they light up the cave, so I really like those. And I think they'll be quite good in decoration as well. I like how the glow berries look on them. So those are going to be an awesome block. On to the next feature then. Okay, next feature we want to look at is copper ore, and we'll look at copper ore, copper ingots, and how to smelt them up into a copper block, and then we'll cover off, well, all the new copper blocks. I think it'll be time to get out of these caves. And isn't this cave absolutely amazing? I know I keep saying that, but this is just, it's just immense. I love it. Anyway, copper. That is iron. I'm not sure about the new texture. Really can't decide on that. What do you think of the new iron texture? Copper. There we go. Okay, let's, right, am I still, yes, I'm in creative mode, obviously. Right, let's set ourselves up a blast furnace, and let's set ourselves some blocks of coal in there. Right, let's set ourselves into survival mode, and let's do a little bit of mining. So this is copper ore. You see it's got that different texture, and you got the oxidization of the copper going on there. That's actually to help people who are colorblind. I have red, and... Ooh, we are into water. That can't be good. Can we block that off? There we go. Has that done it? Yes, before I died as well. Awesome. Yeah, so you have to be careful of water now when you're mining as well, or much more so than before. So we got 6 blocks of copper ore. So we'll use the blast furnace and we'll smelt that up whilst we admire this beautiful, beautiful cave. I do love them. I'm a huge fan of the new caves. I think I said it earlier in the feature. If I didn't, I meant to, but I think next season I thought about building a mountain or a cave base, but everyone's going to be doing cave bases. We're going to see lots of it. I think I'm going to go for, even if it's not in the mountains, it's going to be close to the mountains. I can't wait to see what Mojang do with the cliffs. Right, so we have 5 copper ingots. You smell it up in the same way as iron, and it should be 4 copper ingots to create 1 block of copper. There we have it. That's your block of copper. Okay, and that's how we find copper ore, and that's how we smelt it up. I think the best thing now will be to head up onto the surface, and we'll have a little bit of a look at the variants of copper blocks and how they work. Okay, then you've gone and mined your copper ore, you've smelted it up into ingots, and now you want to use it as a building block. Blocks of copper are incredibly unique in that once you place them, they suffer the effects of weather and age. Now, originally this was just done through the process of time, but actually it's now been implemented as part of the random tick speed rule. So, I'm going to speed this up and show you how it ages. Random tick speed, and we're going to set it to 500. I have been experimenting with this to see how quickly it changes. Let's see how quickly it goes with 500. I'm just going to put my debug menu on. You can see that's a coppered block. Let's see how long that takes to change. There we go. So now we have exposed copper, then weathered copper, and lastly oxidized copper, which is really cool because it kind of brings some life to your builds. You can see how they're aging, how long they've been on the server. Let me set that rule back to 3 before I forget. Now you can actually stop this. You can use honeycomb to stop this. So let me just very quickly go into survival mode and show you how you do this. So you would take your block of copper, your honeycomb. Oops, I need one of those. And then you end up with this waxed block of copper. So I'm going to put a waxed block of copper and a normal block of copper, and then I'm going to set the random tick speed to something crazy. I'm going to say it's 10,000. Oops, random tick speed. There we go. Watch what happens. That one is changing. Our wax one stays the same. So you can actually wax this at any stage, except that last stage, because obviously that's a little bit pointless. It's not going to change, so you can't actually wax that one. But the other stages, so if you want it at a different stage, you can then wax it to keep it in and give some really cool variation to your build. So let me place down expose. Did I change that back to 3? No, I didn't. I want it to change immediately. So we have our normal block of copper. We have our waxed exposed copper, our waxed weathered copper, and our waxed block of copper. These two, our waxed ones, should stay the same, and that one should stay the same. This is the only one that should change when we change that tick speed to 10,000 again. Let's see what happens. There we go, it's changed, and it's already oxidized. So that's really cool. You can use that to get some great variation in your build. Now, there are even more variations of copper blocks, so let's go through some of those now. Let's put myself back into creative mode. There we go. And let's search in copper. Let's see if we can get all these. So we have been through these 4 blocks. So we also have something called cut copper. Now, I'm not going to go through all the wax varieties because they look identical. They just don't age. And let's get the oxidized. Then we have the cut copper stairs. We have the slabs as well. We'll come back to those in a minute. So let's check these out. I like that they have the stairs. Why can't they do... And I have the random tick speed still set to 10,000. Random tick speed 3. All right, that's the fully oxidized version. Isn't that nice? Here we go. Let's try this. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So you get some really nice variety in the build, and they all look great together as well. So, I mean, you'd have a wonderful staircase. Why can't they do concrete stairs if they can do this? I'm going to turn the F3 debug menu back off. So that is cut copper. What else did we have in that menu? Let's head into it and let's type in copper again. Okay, so we had the slabs that we haven't looked at. And again, they are the cut ones. And is there anything else we haven't looked at? Waxed cut copper. I think that's about it. You don't get a normal variety of copper stairs, which it is a shame. So it is just the slabs we haven't really looked at here. So let's put these varieties here and we can just quickly look at them. And they look super cool. I'm a huge fan of these new copper blocks. I'm looking forward to using them in my builds. And I'm going to have to experiment with them. I'm finally going to need a bee farm. I like that we have another use for bee farms. I don't really use them that much at the moment because I don't do a huge amount of redstone. What do you think of copper blocks, folks? Let me know about it. Okay, and the next feature I want to look at is the spyglass, and this gives us zoom functionality finally built into Minecraft. I think that is basically a mod that pretty much every Java player uses. Now, I have set my random tick speed back up to 10,000 because I want to show you how you craft this up. So you would have to go down into the caves and find the amethyst, and you'd find this budding stuff, and eventually the shards will grow like this. They will be much slower because your random tick speed won't be at 10,000. And then you can actually break these shards with anything that isn't silk touch. So if I just break that, he says, as he's in creative mode, let's go back into game mode survival. And let's break it with my hand. Nope, let's give myself a pickaxe. Netherite pickaxe, there we go. And you can see how quickly that grew back. But what that gives you is these amethyst shards. You also need 2 copper ingots to craft this thing up, and that gives you the option to create a spyglass. You can also create a block of amethyst, apparently. Awesome. And then, oh, and that has actually changed even more. That was circular below. But I guess square makes more sense in Minecraft. Can you... You don't seem to be able to zoom in and out as far as I can tell. So you can just use this, but it is nice to finally get a zoom feature built into Minecraft. And that's really cool. I think hopefully that means people won't use zoom in their kind of their mod packs and stuff like that. Hopefully they will use this because I like native Minecraft. I don't know about you guys, vanilla Minecraft. I think that's quite cool. So that's one new item. Let's move on to the next feature. Okay, so for the next feature, I am back down in my cave because I think this is where it will generate when it's put in. And I have the moss block in my inventory. I'm going to break this block and put a moss block there. It looks really nice. I like it. Second, watch what happens when I bone meal a moss block. It changes the underlying block to moss and some of the blocks around it to moss. But you also end up with these are azalea bushes. And let's see if I can... place some more blocks, see if we get some more randomness. At the moment it's very uniform. So we get all these azalea. Can I bone meal those? Doesn't look like I can. We get the moss carpet, which is a really cool block and will be really useful for lighting stuff up. There we go. We've got the flowering azalea variety. That's what I was after. So we have these two types of azalea bush. We have the flowering and the non-flowering variety, and they're really, really nice blocks. I really like them. Let's see what happens if we do a little bit more of this. See if we get any randomness. No, we get the azalea bushes again. So that's looking really cool. It all fits well, really quite nicely. Like, it works very well with the glowberries and the cave vines. And it just looks very, very nice. Like I say, I'm a huge fan of the moss carpet up in certain biomes, depending on the grass color. It looks really, it's like a really good way of hiding lights. It's better than green carpet. So that is incredibly useful. I also really like the flowering variety. Now you also end up with azalea leaves. Now I'm not really familiar with how you get these, and I had a quick read and I still couldn't figure it out. So I'm just going to go into creative as I am now and type in azalea. And there we go, we get the leaves as well. And I'm just going to place a few of these so you can see what they look like. So this is just the normal variety. Very hard to tell apart from some of the normal tree leaves. And then we have the flowering variety, which are much easier to tell apart. And they are very, very nice indeed for decoration. Again, I'm not 100% familiar with how you obtain these. Like, if I go back into survival, maybe I give myself an axe. Let's type in axe. Let's give myself a netherite axe. I mean, what happens if I break this? I ended up with the... was it the azalea? There we go. I ended up with the flower and azalea. What about if I use shears? Give Upfielder shears. Let's try this. And again, you end up with the bush. So I'm not sure where these leaves are going to generate. I don't know if that's been figured out yet. I can't read it. Let me know down in the comments if you do. That'd be great. For the next feature then, you can probably see it in my inventory. I decided to stay down in the dark of the caves. I thought this would be a nice way to show them, but I have candles in my inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and place just, this is the kind of first one that you make. And there you go, and you can light it and it gives a nice, did that go out? That's an interesting effect. The flame almost seems to go out. I'm not sure I'm keen on that. You wouldn't really see that normally with a candle, surely. That's kind of an odd effect. Will it stay lit now? No. Yeah, I'm not sure about that effect. Like, that's not normal to me. You would not see a candle really do that. I think they're going for like the wind effect, but I'm not 100% keen on that. Anyway, you can place more than one candle in a block, and that did actually, first time I've tested this, seem to increase the light. Let's just hit the F3 key and let's have a look at our client light. I mean, you have to be really close. It's like 2 around it. So let's put in a second one. Let's see if that lights it up. Yeah, indeed it does. And if you put 3 in, it really lights up the place. And if we put 4 in, actually would stop mob spawning. So that's quite a cool effect. I like that you can, that's a really cool effect. I like that you can alter the light effects. That's something that's really, really useful. I did not know they did that. And obviously they come in 16 different colors. And I'll place a few of them now. There we go. And just light them up. Is that going to light? Yep. Really cool effect. I have no idea. Oops. No idea how you put them out. Do you just break them to put them out? But anyway, I really like the effect. And like I say, I did not know you had that adjustable kind of light level effect with them. That's really, really cool. That's a hugely... Did they implement that straight away? I must have missed that one. Problem with the quick looks, you miss some of this stuff. It is very, very cool. Okay, next feature. Okay, next up we are going to look at the lightning rod. Now I have one in my hand, but if you were to craft this up, it takes 3 of the copper ingots. and they go in a pattern like so, and you can craft up your lightning rod. Now these can be used to protect wooden structures during storms. So most people, I think, on servers certainly have the fire spread game rule turned off, so this would be a way to enable it, but you have to strategically place the item. If I was to place it here, it would attract the lightning, but it would still set my structure on fire. Now if I place it here, interesting, we didn't get that down in time, it will attract lightning that strikes anywhere within a 32 block radius. Did that hit? There we go, that is hitting in the lightning bolt. So there we go, that is perfect. We've had multiple examples that is not hitting these areas. So as I was just about to say, this will protect an area of 32 blocks in each direction, except up and down, which is in 4 blocks. So you have to be strategic with these things, but that is a great way. That means you can leave on the fire spread rule but still protect your wooden structures. So yeah, that's a good feature. I like that. One thing I forgot to show you with this is when it's hit by lightning, it should emit a redstone signal. Now I've got a comparator there, so we're going to see if that happens. Hopefully we get a lightning bolt very soon. I will clip this if it doesn't, so you don't have to sit here for several minutes. And there we have it. That just released a redstone signal. You should have briefly seen that comparator light up. I was just preparing myself a trident, and I was just about to put loyalty on it. I can't remember what the level is on this. Is it 5? 3. There we go. Now this shouldn't work. It did work. Okay, I believe the notes are wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it said that in the notes it won't emit a redstone signal. There we go, another redstone signal just there. Not entirely sure what usage, that was a lot of lightning. Not entirely sure what usage that would have in contraptions, but I'm sure people will find some. Cool, next feature. Okay, next up we have Tinted Glass, and this one I may need to go into night mode to demonstrate, we'll see. I'm in survival mode at the moment. I have a piece of glass. I need some of these shards again, so I'm just going to break some shards, and I believe I need 4 of these. Did that give me 4? I've got plenty. And if I change to that, there we go, we can make tinted glass. Now, I'm going to show you how tinted glass works. Right, I'm going to go back into creative mode for this, because I want to place lots of glass. I'm going to place some light sources in here. So let's get some sea lanterns. Stick those in place of our trident. Then we're going to place this down like so. I think this will give us the best effect. Now that room is completely lit up and we can see into it. Now if you use normal glass, the light will go through the glass, light up the surrounding area. Tinted glass, and this should be best demonstrated by night mode, and we'll go there in a second. We might need to clear the effects. Can't remember if I gave myself night mode or if I removed it indeed. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Time set night, and you can see there's no light leaking out of that. That's actually working really well already. Let's set it a little bit later so it's completely dark. There we go. You can see no light is leaking through that, but we can see into that. Is how tinted glass works. Be quite useful in mob farms when you want to light up but not affect the farm rates. That'd be quite cool. And you can see as soon as we break that, the light just spills out, and if we block it back up again, you can see that's not working. I love tinted glass, but that is incredibly expensive to craft. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. So yeah, tinted glass, next feature then. Next up, we have bundles, and these are crafted using rabbit hides and string, like so, at a crafting table, and that gives you a bundle, and then in this bundle, you can place items, apparently. Okay. So let me split this up a bit and then we can demonstrate it. There we go, 20. So right click and it places it in there, up to 64 items total. So I should be able to place in lots of items there, and I should be able to keep going with this. Yeah, so up to 64 items. Now if you put something in that doesn't particularly stack, will it let me put that in? No, it is too full. It kind of cleans up your inventory if you've got lots of little bits and pieces in your inventory. I'm a little bit skeptical of their worth. I mean, essentially I would just have a shulker. Now you can't put shulkers in them. I don't know, this feels like a feature no one asked for because no one needed. Convince me otherwise, folks. Convince me otherwise. But for me, I can't ever see me crafting one of these. Can't see the use for it. Next up, we have powder snow. Now, this is obtained by placing cauldrons in snowy biomes. So, snow biomes, top of the mountains. When it snows, you get powdered snow once it's filled up. If you take an empty bucket, you can fill it up with your powdered snow, and it is a trap block. So, if I was to walk into this block now, it behaves a little bit like a cobweb. And my movement slows down. You see I can't run, and you can start to see I get these freezing effects on the screen. So, you can start to take freezing damage. Let's see how long it takes before I start to take damage. Takes quite some time. There we go. I'm going to start to take damage now. Okay, I'm going to get out of there because I don't want to die. Now, if you happen to be wearing leather boots, because everyone runs around their Minecraft world in leather boots, of course, you do not fall down. You could also be wearing a piece of leather armor, and that would pretty much stop the freezing damage. If you walk in from the side, the leather boots don't help you, so just from the top. So you could use this as potentially a mob trap, I guess. It should reduce full damage and stuff like that as well. So again, it's one of those blocks, because I don't do a lot of redstone, a lot of traps, I'm not that aware of how it's going to be used, but I'm looking forward to seeing how people use it. I think there's going to be some really creative uses of this block going on. Okay, next feature. Okay, next up we have the Sculk Sensor, and this is essentially wireless redstone. And I've already seen some amazing contraptions being built on YouTube, like wireless phones and things like that. I can't wait to see what people do with this. And let me just quickly demonstrate how this works. So this reacts to noise, and depending on the noise that it hears depends on the signal strength. So if I walk, he says, there we go, it sets off the sensor, and you get just a little bit of signal. You get a signal strength of 1, so it only lit up that one block. Now watch what happens if I place a sea lantern. It lights up the entire thing because that generates a much stronger signal. Go and visit the Minecraft wiki or whatever it's called, and it'll tell you what all the different signal strengths are. Like I say, the contraptions that you're going to be able to build with this thing are going to be utterly amazing. Now you should be able to dampen the effects with wool. See how that's not setting it off? There we go. And if I get away from the wool, that should, there we go. Let's move this. There we go. So you don't hear anything there. So wool can be used to dampen the senses of the Sculk Sensor. Like I said, can't wait to see what people do with this. One of my favorite features so far. Okay, change of pace. We're at a body of water here, and we're going to have a look at the glow squid. Now, a controversial choice. I think it always is when you get these things, but I actually like the features that it brings to the game. So I'm going to spawn in some. I have no idea what just happened. Oh, there we go. Well, that seems incredibly buggy. I have no idea what is happening there. I can't even begin to tell you what's going on there. Answers on a postcard with that one. Seems to be some sort of bug. If we go under the water, you can see there are plenty of them. Does this happen with normal squid? Is this just a glow squid thing? Let's try it out. Okay, so that might well be... You know what? They are all starting to appear. Is there some weird... That's a very strange bug in my opinion. Can we see more under here? That's a very, very That's a very confusing bug. But we can see the difference between the glow squid, and when they do show up, they are really, really cool. I'd love to know what that bug is. Okay, so when you kill a glow squid, you get a glow ink sac, and they can be used to create a couple of things. So let's... I'm going to use Tinted Glass here because I have nothing else. So we have that glow item frame. I should have given myself a normal item frame for comparison, and I'm going to need that in a minute. So we're going to do that. I'm going to get myself a map, and I'm going to create a map because, oops. So that is the best way to demonstrate this. That's my map. There we go. I think that's a great way of demonstrating it. Look how well that is lit up. I think that is awesome for maps and also quite good for items as well. It saves you putting lights behind them, so that's quite a cool feature because not always do you want to put lights. If it's on like this window, for example, on this glass, then I think that's quite a cool effect. The second thing you can do with this is create glowing ink. So if we create a sign, let's create it here. Hello. You know what? Subscribe. to app fielder. I'll be cheeky. And that reminds me, subscribe. Hit that button down in the bottom right hand corner. Okay, we're going to dye that purple. Now you can read that, but it isn't that clear. There we go. We can do just subscribe to app fielder and it becomes much, much clearer. Subscribe to app fielder. I think I spelled that right. Let's just dye that so you can see the comparison side by side. And I believe if you use a normal ink sac, let's grab one. That should send that back so we can change it if we want. I really like that. Again, I think it's a really cool feature. I think glow squids give us some really cool options. Can I actually see all those squid now? That was a very strange bug. Wasn't there a squid there a second ago? Okay, anyway, next feature. Okay, I've set it back to daylight, although we can still see the glow squid here, and we can see that they're glowing by their effects. The next thing that we want to look at is the Axolotl. Now, when I saw the video for 117, these were described as very cute mobs. And they are kind of cute to look at, I guess. But I have nicknamed them the Nibbler of Minecraft. And the reason I've nicknamed them the Nibbler of Minecraft is because they will destroy absolutely everything they come into contact with. So, we're going to spawn some in and watch what happens. We get the pink one, we've got the white one, the gold one, there's a brown one. There is a very rare gold one that we're probably not going to see. I'm just going to spawn a load in, see if we get one, because it's about a 1 in 1,200 chance. It's very rare, essentially. I don't think we're going to get lucky and see one. Not at all. Look at them go, though. They are absolutely wiping out all wildlife. Now, if we get tropical fish, if we take a few more of these, we should be able to breed these fellas up. Let's take you and you. I don't know if we're going to see it. We can see them coming towards us. Did we see one? I don't know if we'll see one spawn there, but that does allow them to breed if you feed them tropical fish. So we have the rare one that we haven't seen. I think the chances of getting that in this video, oh, I thought we got one then, are going to be incredibly rare. We did get them breed. I've just had the message, the parrots and the bats, apparently. So we can also tame them. Now, if you capture one in a bucket, let's get ourselves a bucket. Don't know if this will work in creative, so let's put myself into survival. That was a good start. Fine. There we go. There we go. Got myself a bucket of Axolotl. Now that should be a tamed Axolotl. Now I don't really know what that means in terms of... I mean, is he following me? He doesn't seem to care about me at all. But he should follow me and he should attack any enemies. So if I go near guardians or things like that, that should be a tamed Axolotl that kind of helps me out. Is that my friend? I don't know if that's my friend. I think that's my friend. Is he going to follow me? Is he just chilling? But anyway, Axolotls. Interesting to see how much use they have in terms of fights against guardians and things like that. But like I say, set them free in an ocean at your own risk. They will empty it. Next up, we have Dripleaf, and we have Big Dripleaf, and that didn't seem like the best example. But we also have a Small Dripleaf as well. Ironically there, Small Dripleaf, if I place it in dirt, is a little bit bigger. Can I place Big Dripleaf next to it? Interesting. Anyway, if you stand on this, you can kind of use it as stepping stones. Let's see how far along we can get with that. Can I bone meal this up? I probably don't want to do it while I'm standing underwater. Let's give myself some bone meal. Give Upfield a bone meal because I'm in survival mode. Let's give myself 64. There we go. We can make that a bit bigger. We can use them as steps, but you got to be quick. So good for parkour. You can you stand on the little ones? No, you can't. I'm standing on the big one. So big and little Dripleafs. Let's make that. Yeah, if we bone meal that, it turns it into a big one. Like I say, we can stand on that, but you can't do it too much before it drops. So that is Dripleaf, interesting decorative block, and yeah, I can't wait till they put this all together with all the other features and make it look really beautiful. Next up we have Hanging Roots. These are a decorative block, only in creative at the moment, and again I assume they will spawn in lush caves, and well, they don't serve any purpose. You can't bone meal them or anything at the moment. They just look quite nice, and well, not a lot else to say about that block other than it looks quite nice. So in front of me, we have another decorative block. Well, actually in front of me right now, we have dirt and we have coarse dirt. We have a third kind of dirt now called rooted dirt, and that's kind of a lighter dirt block, adds a little bit more variation. You can't place plants on this, and there's not a lot else to say about it. It doesn't seem to do a lot else at the moment. Don't know how to craft it. It's only in creative mode. It's just a lighter dirt block. Looks quite nice, but I don't know what the use is yet. Next up, we have Spore Blossom, and again, currently only a decorative block that you can place down in creative mode, and it's a very nice block. We have these green particles that it emits, and they should eventually center around. I mean, they go over quite a large radius. They should be part of the lush caves. They're a very nice block to look at, but again, at the moment, they don't serve a lot of purpose beyond decoration. So, there you go. Take a nice look at them. That is the Spore Blossom. Next one is a bit more substantial finally. So we saw this earlier on in the video as we were touring these wonderful caves, and just let me say again how much I love these caves. And we have here Deepslate. Now this was previously called Grimstone, that I wrongly pronounced Grimestone for an entire video like an absolute idiot. The natural form of it, the side textures are different to the top texture. Now this was a purposeful change. When you break it, so this is called Deepslate, but when you break it, and it helps if I go into survival, when you break it, we'll break some more, you get a different variety called cobbled Deepslate. Now obviously it looks much darker than this. Normally I've got night vision again. So from this you can make quite a few different varieties of, well, Deepslate. So I'm going to go back into creative rather than craft all these up, and then I think we'll just run through them. Deepslate. So we have Deepslate, which is its natural form, cobble, which I don't think I actually showed you the cobbled version when it's placed down. You see how that has a slightly different texture. All four textures here match, whereas the top of this one is different. And that is the main difference between those two. If we go back into our inventory, so we've looked at the normal varieties. Those are all the ores. We can make Deepslate bricks, Deepslate tiles, which is a new one, chiseled. Then we have the walls, which we will look at. Did I miss one there? I think I did. Which one did I miss? Cobbled? I missed polished. Let's move this over. I missed polished. Okay. So let's create ourselves some blocks, and let's do the same. I think with walls it's a bit better. So let's have a look at the 4 block textures here, and then we'll have a look at the walls, because I think with walls it's better to build a few blocks. Those are some really nice blocks. I quite like that as well. That's quite cool. I'm not sure what that reminds me of. Someone did say this the other day, maybe the warden. I don't know. Someone will have to remind me again. Those are all nice building blocks. I can see myself using those a lot in towns and villages that I plan on building in the next season of Strangecraft. Okay, so let's have a look at the cobbled Deepslate wall. Polished. Oops. And you know what? Let's put that there. Let's get ourselves the tiled version. And then finally the Deepslate brick wall. So lots of different textures there. I like the variation in textures with this. I think that's going to be really good for building. And like that again. Do you want to see the stairs? We're not doing the quick look today. I think we can take a look at the stairs, can't we? I don't think we need to take a look at the slabs. We know what they look like. Blocks. Just smaller. Here we go. Have I got them all? Did I miss a brick? No, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What have I got 2 of there? 2 polished. 2 polished. There we go. Let's get the stairs in there. There we go. So really cool looking blocks. I'm a big fan of Deepslate. Now I don't think there is a smooth variety. There is not. Okay. Well, that's the end of the Deepslate part of this video. Let's go on to the next feature. There has been so many features. So a smaller change, but one I'm quite pleased with. So we still have basalt blocks which look like this, and from those basalt blocks we can still create the polished variant, which was in the current version of Minecraft, and again, quite cool. What we have now though, if we put some basalt into the blast furnace, that of course didn't work. Is it the polished version? Is it neither version? Can I not do it in the blast furnace? Let me give myself a normal furnace. That might only be for ores. I don't use the blast furnace a lot. Let me take the basalt. There we go. When I'm not being an idiot, can only do that in a furnace. You live and learn every day, folks. It shows how often I use that blast furnace. I really should use it more. Here we go. We get the smooth basalt. So let's put that. That was probably a stupid place, but we can now compare it to the other varieties. I like it because I like using basalt. And sometimes the fact that it has a different texture on top can annoy me. So I like the fact that this one gives us another option. It gives us a variety where all the sides are the same. There are certain scenarios where I can see myself using it. And if we're being honest here, I think more blocks is generally always a good thing. So smooth basalt, turns out can't be done in a blast furnace, only in a furnace. There we go, we're slowly getting more blocks. And that looks mighty cool. So yeah, another good new feature. Right folks, this has been a long list of features. It's hard to believe when you go through this. Let me put myself back in creative while I talk. Hard to believe when you go back through this that just how much has already been added, and we're not, I mean, we haven't even done cliffs, we haven't got goats, we haven't got the wardens and stuff like that. So anyway, the last thing I wanted to show you was the changes to the world structure. So you can see in the left hand side there the XYZ coordinate, and it's the Y coordinate that I'm interested in. I mean, we are already down at Y42 here. Let's go into spectator mode and let's see if we can't find somewhere that little bit deeper. Here we go, this is pretty deep. I know it's in lava, you'll have to excuse this. We're down at what, Y equals 63 here, and I think it goes all the way down to Y equals 64. We might well have a good block here. If I can see it, not great. I can't see it there really. But my point is it goes down to 64, and if we go right back up to the top of the world, I think the build height before was what, 250, 255? Someone's going to have to tell me down in below. I can't remember it off the top of my head. That has also been extended by 64 blocks. So let's get up here. And let's go in creative mode. Here we go, and let's get ourselves, we can use the polished basalt, that is fine. And let's see how high we can get up. Here we go, we're at, what, about 150 so far. This has interesting ramifications for mob farms and spawning and creating perimeters and things like that. And we'll keep on going. Where are we up to? We're still not at the previous build height, I don't think. Here we go. Let's keep going. 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 I miss Tweakaroo fast block. Let me say that right now. So I think you can see we are now clearly above the previous levels for world build height, and we are so far up. What is the limit? I don't actually know the limit. So it's about 64 above, so we should be able to go into the 300s. Here we go. We should get a message soon saying that we can't place any more blocks. Still going. Build height 320. There you have it. That is the build height. I can barely see the ground, and I always have that on pretty high up. There we have it, folks. That has been a mammoth video. Like I say, I normally do quick looks, so sometimes I miss features, and I'm happy that I've had a chance to go through all these features and just have a little bit more of a play with them and read through of exactly what they do. Don't always have a chance to do that myself. If you enjoyed the video, if you're still here, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, folks, I'm Abfielder. That's all I got time for today. Goodbye.